Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and in this video we are going to be talking about promises and async awaits in JavaScript. And basically what a promise is pretty much the same thing in real life. In real life, when you make a promise, you gonna keep it and make it happen, which in JavaScript means that you're gonna resolve it, or you're gonna fail to keep your promise, and in JavaScript that means that you rejected it. So we will have a quite very basic program that generates a random number between 1 and 10, and according to our result we will either resolve and or reject the promise, and I'm gonna show you that right now. So here I have my terminal open up, and I'm gonna cd into my YouTube folder, and I'm gonna make a directory called promises and cd into that as well, promises and code dot, and it's gonna open that for me. So now I'm gonna create my index.html file, and I'm gonna create my index.js file. Since I have a extension installed which I showed in the previous videos, you can check that from there. I'm just gonna do index.html tab, and it's gonna create the boilerplate for me, and I'm gonna import my JavaScript file by writing index.js in this script source attribute. So I'm gonna close that, we don't need that anymore. I'm gonna say go live. It's gonna open up the app within the browser. So here yes, okay, so here we're gonna have a random number, and I would like to call that random number equals that math.floor math.random. Since we wanted it between 1 and 10, I will say +1. So I'm taking 0 out of the equation. Actually it's gonna be between 1 and 11, and I would like to have a function that returns a promise. So I will write function promise returning function, great name, right? Return new promise. Like I said, this is gonna return a new promise, and while we are creating a new promise, it takes a function which has two parameters. First one is resolve, second one is reject. So what I would like to do here is, if my random number greater than 5, I would like to resolve this, and I would like to return an object in this resolve. So I can return random number result random number, and message number is greater than 5, right? So else, so if it's not greater than 5, I'm gonna reject it, and I'm gonna say number is less than 5, right? To use this resolve and reject, we need to call this function, and to call this function I would like to do something different actually, and so we need another function here. I'm gonna say promise calling function, another great name for a function. So promise returning function dot then, sorry, I need to invoke this dot then. So by dot then you are accessing the resolve returning value. So what you need to do here is give a function within this then, and you have the returning value within this as a parameter. I would like to console log that. I will just write it here as it is. I'm gonna close that. I'm gonna save this for now. Maybe, okay, it didn't format it. So this dot then, like I said, it gets the value from resolve, and to handle the reject case you need to do dot catch, and same thing here again, it's gonna give you the returning value and you can basically catch console log or do the business logic according to your program needs within this catch. And I'm gonna invoke this by calling it here. So as you can see, our result is 1. Here the returning value. Maybe in order to show you better, I would like to write the console log, the random number at the beginning of the program. So it's 6, so it's greater than 5. So our promise resolves this whole thing. Let's refresh. So random number is 2, so it's not greater than 5, so it's gonna fall into this else statement, and it's gonna reject it because the business logic here rejects when it's less than 5. There is one more way, a better practice maybe actually, when you are developing a big project. So we are going to make this function async, and instead of writing .10, I'm gonna cut this, and I will say const dot returning value equals awaited promise returning function. In order to avoid that .10 and .catch chain, you need to await this promise returning function within an async function, and this is gonna give you, if your promise is resolved, it's gonna give you the result returning value. If it's rejected, it's gonna give you the rejected result value. So basically, to get those values efficiently, you're gonna need to wrap your function calling. You need to wrap it with try catch. So within try, you will be accessing the then value because it successfully it tried to get the value, and it successfully got it. Returning value, I wrote it wrong. Okay, but in the catch section, as you can probably tell from here, it's gonna catch the rejected value, and it's gonna be five. Number is not less than 5. Okay, here is kinda thing here. Let's make it greater or equal to 5. And now, and by the way, I forgot to change, that's why I kind of confused here for a second. So this is gonna be catch, and again catch. Maybe this is way better. Yeah, this is much better now, understandable at least. So our result is 2. It's gonna fall into else statement here, and it's gonna reject it. So we will have our returning value within this error parameter here, and we will be accessing our object values within this error object here. And yeah, this is actually quite simple way. Hopefully you guys understood the whole promise and async await logic in JavaScript. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.